Hey everyone, today's overview and review video is on Wayfarers.
Of the South Tigris.
Yeah.
I had to look at the box.
If you're new to the channel, this is Two Sheep, One Wheat. I'm Krissy.
And I'm Nick.
And if you're into board games, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're ultra into board games, we have added members to the channel where we learn all of our board games before we make content on it. And a big thank you to all the members who have already joined.
Yeah. Go members.
Go members. So, like I was saying, we are playing Wayfarers today. This is a Garphill Games. Wayfarers?
We're overviewing and reviewing.
What did I say?
We're not playing it.
Oh yeah, we're not playing it. Not yet. We will be after this video.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're reviewing it and we're overviewing it.
Yeah, playthrough's next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I already said.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Okay.
Okay. So anyways, we are going to go over it. We're going to go through the components first, kind of setup, and then we're going to go through all of the actions and everything and how to play the game. So you want to do it? Take us to the table.
Let's go to the table.
So there's a couple of decks going on around the board. We have Town Folks cards, we have Space cards, we have Inspiration cards, we have Water cards, and Land cards. And you're basically just going to flip over 4 cards for each deck, just like how it is. Then the upgraded tiles are going to be placed out onto the board as well. For the green, yellow, blue, and black, these ones are going to be 1 per each player. So in this case, for a 2-player game that we have set up, there's 2 for each of these tiles. And then for the pink tiles, these are just all of them. They actually showcase underneath too which ones go where, same as for these ones. And along with the tiles, we also have 4 workers that each have a space for them. So once you go through this track, you're going to be able to claim some of these and use them for actions that we'll go through soon. And then, so you're going to be able to pick whichever color that you want to, your player colors. You're going to be placing them just right here, and this is what's going to track your progress up this track. And then we also get dice. 2 for each player is going to be placed on the board up here. And then we have guilds at the end of the board. These kind of give you benefits throughout the game. And for setup, so the first player is going to set 1 influence in the blue guild. And then the second player is going to place 1 in the blue and yellow guild. And then we also have journaling tiles. These are basically flipped over and they're just randomly placed out in all of the empty spots on the board. And those will be just little extra for you. Bonuses once you go up the track. And then so player boards, we have our player boards too. They're all pretty much the same except whatever is on here. They're basically same but different a little bit, and the other side is going to be for solo play. So everyone's going to get one of these. Every player's going to start off with 3 coins and 2 provisions, and then you do get your 3 dice and all of your influence, and you're going to start the game with a yellow and blue worker as well.
Easy peasy. Sets up pretty quick. The box is really well sorted so that you can easily pull things out to set it up.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's got a nice little insert inside of it and whatnot. So yeah, so that's basically set up. That's basically all of the components and everything too. We did get the metal coins for this game.
Yeah, so we have them right here.
Yeah, you can hear them, yeah, instead of the cardboard punch-outs. So that's how everything's set up. Those are all the components, and then we'll go
One other thing to mention.
Oh, what did I miss?
These are double-sided.
Oh,
and
yes,
so you can have them in any combination you want.
Yep.
So
that is true.
It really varies the track, because it's a track, right, that you're moving.
Yeah, you don't want to get too used to it.
Yeah, so you can combination-wise keep it different.
Exactly. So then we'll go over what you can do during your turn, so what types of actions that you can take, and
that's me?
Yeah, that's you. That's your cue.
Okay.
So
well,
kind of how you play the game.
You can do basically 3 actions. First action, you can place a dice down into any dice spot. So if you'll notice your player board, these white squares, those are dice spots. On the cards, you'll see white squares. Those are where dice can go. As a second action, you can place a worker out. Now, the land cards, the sea cards, or the water cards, and the townsfolk cards, you'll see that there's worker placement spots. So, like this spot right here could be a blue or a green worker, which you'd place on the card, and then you'd get these benefits. You'd be able to refresh a die, and then you'd be able to increase a die plus or minus 1 twice.
Yeah, so refreshing a die is anyone that's already been placed to, that you want to take it off and utilize that spot again.
So these give you benefits. Yellow over here, green or yellow worker Costs 3 provisions. You can pick 3 of these cards, select one, the other 2 go on the bottom. This one, green or yellow worker, it allows you to pick up one of these tiles at the cost of 3 money or 2 yellow influence. This one here allows you to get 2 money plus 1 yellow influence. This one here allows you to get, is a green or yellow worker, lets you get a townsfolk card plus or minus a die.
Yep.
Blue,
We just did
green
that
or blue, refresh a die plus or minus 2 different dice or the same dice. This one is blue or green worker, 2 provisions plus 1 into the water influence. Blue influence.
It would make sense though, wouldn't it?
This one here allows you to get these tokens at a cost of 3 money or 2 blue influence. This one,
and basically you're just taking them off. You're removing them to gain the benefit. Yep.
This one here lets you spend 3
Provision.
lets you spend 3 provisions to pick up 3 of these cards and pick one, put the other 2 at the bottom. And then up there is all for green workers. And that one is 1 green worker for a journaling action plus a provision. The next one allows you to get a green tile. Normally at a cost of 2, but that would be free. So you'd be able to take it for free. Just because it's got the 2 little circles and the X's. The next one would be a green worker for an influence in each of the 3 different guilds. And the final one is a green worker, and it allows you to get a space card at a -1 cost. So this would cost you 2 instead of 3. So those are the worker spots that you'll be able to place. Oh, that's not the final one.
Nope, we have one more. There's a lot of decks in this.
The inspiration
Yep.
can be any of the 3 different workers. Okay. This will get you 2 money. This will get you money and a refresh. This will get you a provision, and it'll allow you to put 1 in whichever guild you want. And this will get you 2 provisions.
Yep.
That is your 2 actions. Your third action is if you have no more dice or only 1 dice, or any amount, but generally you don't want to have more than a dice. 1 die.
And then 1 die, yeah. Otherwise it's not going to work out so well.
No.
You won't get the effects.
You won't get the rest of the action.
Yeah.
Right? You can have, resting doesn't really matter how many workers you have. You can hoard them if you want. It really kind of matters just how much dice you have. You generally want to have 1 or less. So when you rest, you'll have these little action spots that you can get from more cards or that you already have on your board. So when you rest right now, you'd get a journaling action plus a coin. You would take all your dice that's been already placed out, you get them back, you'd re-roll them, and you'd start, be next for a turn, and start fresh. Now the big part of this game is getting your dice to have the certain symbols that you need. So yeah, it's a dice placement, but the values on the die refer to certain symbols that the dice have. So starting the game off, your 1s and 6s have set symbols already to them. So the 1 already has the camel, and the 6 already has the telescope. So I could put, see this how this has a telescope on it, I could put my 6 on it and get this action. A space card or a black tile. Paying the costs. Nothing's free. But to go here, I don't have a pigeon. So that's why you need these tiles here. These tiles go in this spot, and it allows you to have certain symbols. So let's say I ended up getting this blue tile. Wherever I put this tile, these are rewards you get for covering up. So if I recover up the coin space here with this like that, I would get 1 coin. And now, if I had a 3, it would count as a pigeon. And then I could do that action. Now some, as you acquire cards, will give you more dice placement actions. So let's say I was able to get a yellow card.
Yeah, so the land cards go to the land cards go to the left, and then the water cards go to the right. And then we also have the space cards that can go on either side on the top because space is everywhere.
So I get this land card here. That's how you would get more actions, by getting a yellow card, by coming down here. Now this opens up this other space. Some cards will have 2 symbols on it. So the 3, or my 1, let's say, has just a camel on it. Well, I need a camel and a magnifying glass. So I could either...
telescope.
Or a telescope. I either need a camel and a telescope on my 1, or I need to modify it with a townsfolk's card. So the way I could do it is I could either get this black tile, And I can put it down here. And now my ones would be a camel and a telescope. And if I had to spend a provision, it would cost me one less. Right, so now I'd be able to put my one there. And then I would satisfy that requirement. Another way to do it would be to get a townsfolk card.
With the same symbol, yep.
Now, the townsfolk card have costs, so when you acquire this townsfolk card, you have to pay the cost of the top left. And they also have a requirement to what type of land or water card they can go to. So this has a city symbol, so they match. So it can go underneath, like so. And so now this has a camel already. So this satisfies that camel requirement. So now I only need a telescope. So if I had a 6, which is a telescope, that would satisfy that because I've got the telescope and the camel's already there. You can't have more than one townsfolk card on a land card or a water card.
Yeah, there's only one card stacking for any type of card that you have.
So that would be land and water. So like Krissy said, water cards go on the right. And you'll notice how they have these symbols here. So when you acquire these, whichever symbol has the lightning bolt that line up with it is what you acquire right away. You'll also notice that some of these cards have lightning bolts for the water cards and the land card. So this one here, lightning bolt on the top, you would get the refresh die. This one here, lightning bolt, you'd get 2 blue influence in the guild. And then you'd also get the provision right away too. So it's kind of trying to chain things together to get different materials and influences.
Yeah, exactly. You can go a while in this game before actually resting.
Yeah.
Especially depending on what type of cards that you get, yeah.
And so then taking another type of card, a space card, you can take a space card, and space cards can go on top of land or water cards. And these are just end game point scoring. So this one would be 1 point plus a point for every
black tile
I have. Okay. Inspiration cards modify
your endgame
your
scoring.
space cards, and they go underneath. So if I put it under like that, this would times 2 whatever this card is if I have 5 of these symbols. Harbor symbols. Space cards, inspiration cards are all end of game scoring to
really push you for the end game, for extra scores.
That is basically acquiring cards where they go on your board. And then the biggest kind of last thing is now moving on this board, per se. And that is journaling. So anywhere you see this little ink bottle and quill is a journaling action.
Yeah, so there's a couple of spots. You have them on your board. You also have the action for the townsfolk, the first one, and also the black influence, the guild.
So you can spend a black guild. So we could talk about this. Guilds. So you can, once per turn, use each one of these. So you can basically spend an influence to get a harbor or a sailing symbol tag. So you can use your die. You can spend a yellow guild to plus minus 2 different dice or the same dice twice. And you could use the black guild to do an additional journal.
Yeah, so journaling is basically just helping you up through this track here. And a lot of the time, so whenever you go up, your first one is going to be for free. And like I said, these journal tokens here are just randomized out. And so you'd be able to collect the bonus that's in there. And the first person to go into this column, you'd be able to collect the worker too. And then to move on, to be able to journal again, you'll need to meet the requirements. These ones, tags, depending on what type of cards that you have.
More tags.
More tags. A whole bunch of tags.
Right. It's 2 harbor tags, 2 book tags.
Yeah, and this one you have to have
planet tag.
2 town folks cards for this one. So you have to make sure that you meet those requirements. And the whole reason that you're moving up through this, you're going to be able to collect some of your extra dice that you have. And you'd be able to collect some of these cards too, kind of. Yeah.
That's where you get the purple tags as well.
This is the only way, isn't it, that you get purple tags?
Yeah.
Or the purple cards? Yeah, or... Tiles. Cards, tiles, yeah. So the whole reason that you're moving up on this too is this is actually how you're going to trigger the end game as well. So the first person to reach to the end, everybody else gets one more turn after that, and then that's
including the person that triggered it.
Yes, including the person that triggered it, and that is going to be the end of the game. So end of the game, you don't really know kind of how many points that you have, so you're going to score up everything. And there is an app for this as well that's going to help you out, but it is missing one thing.
Pad.
There is no pad, no, but the app is pretty good, but it is missing one part.
There is no notepad, right?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
I don't think there is.
No.
Okay.
We didn't have one.
We're going with no, there isn't.
No notepad. So yeah, so Nick will go over and scoring.
Okay.
I guess I'm going over scoring.
So the way you score, you basically will start with your tags. So you'll go over your 4 primary tags: cities, vistas, harbors, and open water. So say I had 5 city tags, I would get 8 points. And then you'd go through how many vistas you had, and then harbors and open water. You'd add all those points up. Then you would do sets. That's what this one here. So if you had a set of all 4, that'd get you 5 points. If you had 2 sets of all 4, you'd get another 5 points. So that is scoring tags. Mm-hmm. Next, you move on to scoring your space and inspiration cards. So you would take whatever space cards you'd have. Say I had this one like that. So this would be townsfolk cards plus
the
tiles.
random tiles, yeah.
So you need pairs, right? So 1 townsfolk card, 1 tile is 1 point. And you pairs, right? So if you had 2 pairs, 3 pairs, that'd be 3 points. 4 pairs, 4 points. Mm-hmm. And then if I had this inspiration tag or inspiration card, this is one of the problems, trying to slide it underneath.
Yeah, there you go. Or just double up your
So
chances.
how many points I had? So say I had 4. I don't have it on the board, but let's say I did, and I had 5 of these harbor tags. I would 2 times by 4. I'd have 8 points off of this card. Mm-hmm. Then I would go over my next space card, adding that up. So once you added your space cards, your primary tag points.
And any tiles that have points on them as well.
Yeah, right. So this yellow point one has a 1 point. These purple ones, this one has a 5 point on it.
Yeah, and then the black one has a 3 point on it.
So any of these point symbols, you'll add those up too.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, after you've added up your primary tags, your space tags, your tiles, you'll do influence. So whoever has the most influence in each of the guilds will get 3 points. Mm-hmm. If there's a tie, no one gets the points. No one would score this point because right now Krissy and I are tied it.
Yep.
Blue would score the 3. No one would score the black because there's no one in there.
Yep, exactly. And then whoever has the most victory points after you've calculated everything, that's the person who has won.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a very complicated game. It just seemed like a lot with all the different worker spots.
Yeah, well, learning the game, going through the rule book and stuff. We had a couple of questions while we were going through the rule book, learning how to play the game and whatnot. But overall, I don't think it was too hard to learn, right? To understand what was going on.
It was pretty basic.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like a lot because there's a lot of decks going on, where they go on your board and whatnot. Yeah. But overall, learning the game was pretty good. Playing the game too.
Yeah, it plays pretty quick once you know what you're doing.
Yes. It did take us a bit for our first time. Second time, though, we had no problem after that. Yeah. And it's been smooth sailing since.
I should mention, we did kind of gloss over one thing. If you were acquiring any of these water cards or land cards, you could spend a pigeon, if you had a pigeon symbol and or a provision to, instead of drawing one from here, you could draw
from the deck instead.
From the deck.
Yeah, we skipped through that.
We did skip through that, but that kind of helps if you don't have the cards here.
Yes.
But so one of my complaints is
right off the bat.
I know.
You're not going to wait.
Well, we can wait, but one of my complaints is the top 2 decks don't have that.
That's it. Well, okay, so for at 2 players, yes, I can understand, playing at 2 players, you really don't cycle through cards a lot. This is one of the ways that you're able to do that at a 2-player game. Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, playing the game, not too bad, pretty easy.
Easy.
Like I said, it looked like there was a lot of stuff going on, but there's really not that much stuff going on. You're really just placing out your workers and using your dice and whatnot. And like I was saying too, you can go a while before you actually even need to take a rest, because you're always different cards that you can get will allow you to refresh a die. And if you're taking a certain card, you can take the card with a worker on it, and then you're just acquiring a new worker too, right?
Yeah.
So there's a big cycle through the game, I think, anyway.
Yeah, like you can keep going by putting a die down. Say there's this blue worker on it, put a die down, which gets you the blue cards, and then now I have another worker I could place out.
Yeah.
And now I can place that over here, which lets me to do that, which allows me to do
else, There's a bunch of triggering and whatnot, which I feel like is a very typical Garphill game anyways, to begin with.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tiles, too, that you can place down will allow you to add or subtract a number from your die, too, which really helps, especially if you've got the icons down that you really need.
Yeah. It's a very interesting dice worker placement game.
Yeah.
Like the combination of actual having workers plus actually using dice and upgrading your die so they do other things. It's a neat concept.
Yeah, and having the cards is what basically allows you to do any of the stuff with the workers and the dice. So then components.
I like the components. I like the metal money that we have.
Yeah, the upgrade for it. Yeah, I think that's probably a number one upgrade that we do for any of our games.
Metal coins.
We like metal coins. I feel like it's a sound, but the wooden components, pretty good, right? The cards are really nice too.
Cards are nice.
Yeah, the dice, they're nice.
Boards are nice. I like that these boards are double-sided.
Yeah, just to kind of mix things up
I like the artwork on the cards.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have a negative thing to say about the player boards, though, is placing the cards underneath.
Yeah,
it's a little iffy sometimes, and you kind of skew things around, but I get the concept of it. You only do
maximum 3 times, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's not like a big thing as you go out. You don't have to focus on the 3 slots that are actually open on your player board.
Yeah, exactly, but still pain in the butt for 3 times.
But this can become a long game as you build outwards, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Because you determine how long you make this game last for. Exactly. It is a nice looking game to look at, though. Yep. Like artwork and whatnot. It's nice to look at.
I like the art.
It's a very. You can tell what type of game this is just based off of the artwork alone, right? Yeah. But artwork fine. I think you know exactly where your cards are going to based off what they are. Yep. So, no complaints for the artwork, nothing. It's not overly busy either, right?
Everything makes sense once you know where to look.
Everything does make sense once you learn how to play the game. Like, halfway through our first game, we're like, oh, yeah, okay, I understand what's going on now.
But I don't know if we did ease of learning already, but I found the rulebook but it explained things as we were learning it, but it didn't actually explain how to do it until the end.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of that where it's like,
this does this and this does that. And you're like, well, okay, but how do I do that?
Yeah.
So I was confused, right? So playing the game, it was like, okay, I know what these do, but how do I do them? Because I'm trying to pull it all together.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, like I said, we learning the game, there was a bit of times where we're like, what the heck? Yeah. But then it does explain it later on, right? You just have to skip ahead. Yeah. It just literally goes through all of the spots on the board, goes through all of the different cards, all the different icons and everything, and then you get to how you actually play the game. You're like, oh, okay.
But knowing that everything is very well defined on the cards, right?
Well, there's not much going back to the rulebook.
You know where it is. Yeah. Everything, the blue lightning bolts, you get it right away. The little white squares, that's where you can put your dice.
Yeah, I think
it's not that hard. The cards, the artwork, everything illustrates really well what you have to do.
Yes, I think until you get to the end game scoring, and these cards were a little confusing on the way that they are.
Inspiration cards and space cards.
Yes.
Because they don't use brackets. They should have used brackets. Some of them use brackets in certain spots.
Yeah.
And they don't make sense.
I would agree.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And once you think of it in a parentheses kind of bracket, it'll be, okay,
it's a little bit easier to understand and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. So theme.
What theme?
There's no theme. That doesn't happen for a lot of games. No. Really, that we review.
It's a worker placement game.
Yeah, exactly. It could literally be any single
It's got a nice looking art, but do I feel like I'm journaling as I push my wooden cube across the board? No, not at all.
No, it's a neat thought to the theme, though, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Like what you're actually doing and
how
it
sets up. You're writing down your experiences of all the cities you go to, right?
Everything that you're seeing, the stars, and they have like planets and comets.
You know, like, yeah, I could probably work my way into justifying how it all ties it together, but do I feel like I'm doing it? No, I'm looking for certain tags. I need certain tiles to make my dice do certain things for the cards that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it, and my goal is to get my disc from that end to this end
Yeah.
sooner than the person behind me, because
Yes.
generally, especially in your first couple plays, if you get to the end first, you probably won. Like, as you get more experienced,
Yeah.
you can kind of strategize a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's not such a race, but especially in your first few games,
Yes.
if you're making it to the end first,
yes.
chances are you've won the game.
Well, because it would showcase that you're doing well because of all the tags that you
Yeah.
need. You need all the different cards, and if you can use your benefit at the end, right? Your end game scoring, and you have all the tags and all the cards that you need, then yeah, you're going to do fairly well. Now, there is luck in this game depending on what cards that you can get out, which is what Nick was saying too, is that if you have the ability to pay for it, then you can kind of cycle through the cards, the land and the water cards, a little bit more than you can with the other decks. But yeah, there is some luck if you can get the cards that you need and the tags that you need to be able to actually go through the track.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because, you know, you're dealing with dice. But
the
you
dice
can,
roll.
you're rolling the dice, exactly.
But there's ways to manipulate the dice with the plus minus, especially up here in the
There
yellow
is.
guild, right?
Even though that you can manipulate the dice, there is still a lot of luck in the game, because I tell ya, I've had a terrible, terrible game playing this one. And it was solely based off of luck. Like, there was nothing that I could have done.
Yeah.
Well, agree to disagree,
agree to
right?
disagree.
Jeez Louise.
I don't think it's that lucky. Like, it's not like 50-50 you might do well. Like, there's definitely strategy.
You saying I suck now?
I'm saying that maybe you did make optimized plays with what you had.
Wow.
But it's a good, okay game.
Yeah, overall,
Like,
it's fun game.
overall, the artwork is good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun playing this one the first time that we played. The second time that we played this, oh my gosh, I wanted to flip the table, because that's the time that I was talking about. I did so poorly at this game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, overall, I had fun playing the game. I enjoyed playing the game. I think that everything really clicks halfway through playing the game, and I started enjoying it a little bit more after we learned the game.
Yeah, I like it. It's an okay game. I don't necessarily believe it's as great as all the hype.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people go off about how great this game was. This game should have been Game of the Year in 2022. This game's fine. It's a solid game, but I am not like running super glee about how excited I am about it. No. Like, it's an okay game.
Yeah.
But is it my favorite Garphill game? No.
No. I really liked it.
I liked Raiders of Scythia more.
Scythia, yeah.
Yeah.
Figures. Knew that. Knew that. But, anyways.
It's neat. I like it. I wish there was player aids if I was going to complain, so -2 points right there.
Oh my gosh. We haven't done that since
No, well,
2021.
because most games come with player aids now, so.
Yeah, but the back, okay, so it's not terrible. It's got a whole thing on the back here.
And then
that goes through
-2
all the
points for
icons.
not having brackets and the scoring when they should.
It was a little confusing.
Because they're not all simple. It's just
Well,
weird.
once you figure it out.
No, it should have brackets.
Once you figure it out, it's not too bad. You will be going through the rulebook, though, to check to see if you're calculating it properly.
But I'll give it +2 points for optimizing both sides of these boards. So that you
I'm
can
fond.
different
Exactly.
combinations. That is genius.
I like
to keep,
when
track game fresh.
Yeah, I like when companies do that. Really just mix things up, and it sprucens up the game, right? More playability that way.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyways, that's our overview and review on Wayfarers. Wafers? Wafers cookies. Wayfarers. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.